What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast, episode 269. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick. As always, this week we are going to be talking about Marathon getting delayed, Switch 2 sales, and we got a new Splatoon game that's coming out. We don't have a release date. And then, hey, we got a Direct this week, Nick. A Donkey Kong Direct. Pretty exciting stuff.
We do. Very exciting. Yeah. Do I wish we had a full Direct? Sure.
Yeah, and I still think we may. I mean, it's still a possibility that we get one. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're going to get one here soon, anyways. Whether it's in June or not. I mean, you know, they've got
June, July.
Yeah, we've got to get some release dates down for Metroid Prime 4 and some other. I think there's a couple other games maybe that we don't have release dates for. Zelda, right? We don't have a concrete release date for that one.
Not really for anything.
In July is the Pokemon presentation.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was announced so early in advance.
Yeah,
I forgot it was happening.
And it's kind of weird to like get this much of a notice for a Direct. Usually it's the day before, but we're getting it, 2 days in advance. So that's
could be telling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Switch 2 generation, I think they're going to be handling some of this stuff a little bit different. I think that Nintendo Today app is like going to be like the best, like the main source that they use. That's where Splatoon got announced. So, I mean,
yeah. And like for the past few announcements, like Splatoon, the Donkey Kong Direct, there's been about a 30-minute lag between Nintendo Today and Twitter. I feel like that's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to, keep on increasing that gap and eventually pull away from Twitter X altogether and just focus in on stuff they can completely control with Nintendo Today.
Yeah, they'll still definitely post, like, because they'll post like all the the random little videos here and there of all their games, but so they won't completely abandon it. But yeah, I think that's just the best way for them to control the name, especially with how the Switch 2 got announced and then all the just misinformation that was out there. It's best to keep that in-house for sure. But before we dive into the news and what we've been playing, Nick, how was your week?
Week was good. Came up to our parents for Father's Day. Came up for the weekend. Played some golf. Went to the driving range on Saturday, and then played a full 18 on Sunday. And man, I'm still sore from playing golf. Like my obliques, my sides, very, very sore. But you know what? I'm proud of myself. Hit a few good drives, hit a few good shots from the fairway, and I had a couple of clutch putts.
There you go.
For saving par on a few holes. I maybe parred like 3 holes.
Yeah, you and I have played so much putt growing up that I feel like once we get to the green, like once we get to like the putting area, like we're fucking locked in. I mean,
we're locked in.
It's just getting there is the struggle.
Whenever my wife and I are watching golf and they get to the green, they get to the putting green, Alicia says, "You know where the game is?" I say, "Where's the game?" Game's on the green. And that's true. The game is on the green. You can fumble every single shot, but you gotta have the putt ability.
Yep.
And that's where you and I come in.
Yeah.
That's our strong suit. If only the entire game could take place on that putting green, but
that would be sick.
Yeah. So it was a good weekend. Had a great Father's Day weekend. Our grandmother moved into like a memory care facility, so got to see her. I don't want to get too into it, but it's pretty overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been talking to Dad, and he's been visiting her every day since she's moved in, and you just fixate. I feel like when you're in that state, you just fixate on specific things that you don't like, or specific things that are outside of your routine.
Yeah.
And not to be a Debbie Downer, but it's hard to see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's, I mean, all diseases are bad, but like Alzheimer's and dementia are like particularly just just awful because I mean you're literally, I mean you've had 80 plus years, and then you forget like just like that. And then you also like, yeah, it slowly does kill you, but it's not like an immediate thing, right? Like you may have 10, 15 years of just slowly, you know, losing your memory, and that, yeah, it just sucks.
It's one of the only diseases that it's gonna be really like really sad and really negative, but it's one of the only diseases that people actively mourn while you're alive. Yeah,
for sure.
But anyways, how was your weekend?
It was good. Same with you. You know, we came up. I mean, you know, I live very close to mom and dad, so but had a good Father's Day lunch. Ate, you know, delicious burgers, nice glizzy.
Great smash burgers. Yeah,
good smash.
Love a glizzy.
Yeah, love a good glizz, man. Yeah,
can't get me away from a good glizz.
Nah. And if you're self-conscious about eating, I mean, you just got to embrace it in this day and age. You're never not going to look suspect eating a hot dog these days.
Even bunless, you just got to go for it.
It might even be worse. Yeah. You know, just my buddy, we always like, well, whenever we do burgers, we do like brats too. So it's like kind of the thicker, you know, and
love a brat.
You know, if I'm eating a burger, I'm definitely doing bun, you know, but if I'm also eating a hot dog, I go bunless. You know, don't need the extra carbs in there, you know. But yeah, when you just pick up just a raw, I mean, he lost.
Well, I hope it's not raw.
Well, it's not raw, but you know, you're raw dog and the hot dog. That's what my buddy says. So he always laughs at me when I'm eating it because I'm just like dipping it in ketchup and mustard.
I was wondering if you squirted the ketchup on it before you picked it up, but
I typically do. Yeah, I typically like drizzle it with ketchup and mustard, and then I just pick that thing up. Sometimes I use a fork. Sometimes I just dive in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to do, man.
You just gotta go in.
just gotta go for it. But yeah, weekend was great. Our kids went to Florida with mom and our grandma. Our dad's gonna meet up on Friday, but they just got there today, so. Always weird being kidless. It's you know, you miss them in one way, but and then another you're kind of like, hey, we can do stuff. And I think the biggest thing, and you'll learn from experience here soon, Nick. But the biggest thing, like especially when you have kids, is the ability to just get up and go. When you have kids, you don't always have that luxury. You know, you
got to stop and think.
Well, you know, we have a 6-year-old and 8-year-old. At this point, you know, you say, "Hey, let's go," and you know, we're in the car. But even then, like today, I'm on lunch break, and I was, you know what, I really want like a salad from like my local grocery store. So I just put the dogs up and then just came back in 15 minutes. You know, with the kid, you might be a little bit longer than that. It just kind of depends. But it's all good. It's all good either way. But so yeah, I think tomorrow we're gonna go out to this restaurant and do some music bingo, and then maybe go to another bar or something since we're both off on Thursday for Juneteenth. So
nice.
So yeah, great week. But Nick, let's dive into what do you want to talk about the games we're playing, or do you had a topic about the Switch 2 launch lineup?
Well, I think we can do both.
Okay.
Let's start with what games we've been playing, and I think that will naturally segue into what we want to talk about, and that's we'll save it. But Harrison,
well, I'll start with Gears. I did play the Gears of War beta over the weekend. It's extreme. I felt like I was playing Nintendo console for a second. Extremely convoluted to get into this beta. Like it wasn't. So I went to
download the beta button.
Well, it was, but you kind of had to do some extra steps. So I searched, went on the store and hit Gears of War Reloaded. It came up, and the only options were to install, like just kind of the pre-order install, or buy the game. There wasn't an option for the beta, and I had to look it up. I was like, "Where's the beta?" And it said you have to go into your My Games and apps. You have to go down to all games, switch over to demos, and then it pops up.
Wow.
Yeah, very weird. I've never really had an issue like that with Xbox, and it was just automatically there. It was very, very strange. I only played one match It took a while to get into that match, which is why I only did the one. But man, it's Gears, baby.
Were you wall bouncing?
I was wall bouncing. I chainsawed a guy. It was great.
Probably a PS5 player.
Yeah,
you chainsawed.
Extremely sweaty. I mean, Gears of War has always been like pretty darn.
It's the
sweaty.
sweatiest of all the.
Yeah,
of all the main.
It's gonna be bad when that game comes out. But still, it was a lot of fun. Like it kind of felt like riding a bike. I mean, just doing the roadie run, doing the ridiculous dodging and wall bouncing and using the Nashor shotgun. Just so much fun. I ended up getting we won one match. Like 3 people rolled up on me, and I just went ham. And I just no scoped him with the shotgun. Like 3. I'm sure they were pissed. Your
instincts kicked in.
They did. So that was a good time. So yeah, can't wait for that to dive into that multiplayer properly. I don't know what I only played one map, which I did remember. I don't know what they're going to be doing for multiplayer. Is it just going to be just the original Gears with nothing else? Like, are they going to have any sort of cosmetics? I mean, they do have like characters that you can play as, like different variants of the Locust and the Cog, but what I'm sure they'll have like different skins. I imagine it's going to be in there. So I don't know what that is going to look like. I mean, Gears 5 had a ton of different like rainbow skins and a whole bunch of stuff like that. So we'll see what they do with that. But yeah, Gears feels back. It feels great. Buttery smooth. Online was good when I actually got into a match. So very, very excited for that to come out in a couple months.
Was this demo just over the weekend?
Yeah, I think it was just a multiplayer beta over the weekend.
Okay.
I don't think it's still going on.
Available to everyone. I would have tried to download it, but I got back at like 7 o'clock on Sunday, and then I was just so tired. But yeah. Sounds great though. I can't wait to replay it. I can't wait to. We need to run through the campaign co-op
for sure.
When it comes out.
For sure. Yeah, we'll definitely run through it.
Fun.
What else do you want to talk about?
I want to hear about Cyberpunk.
Okay.
Because you've been playing through that on the Switch, and Switch 2, and I guess to caveat, I've played through the main campaign on Series X, and I've played through part of Phantom Liberty as well on Series X. You played maybe a couple of hours on the Series X when it came out, but haven't touched it since.
I probably played an hour. I quit very, very quickly, and it was right. It was
later. You were out.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, this is
too much,
too immersive." No, I think I got to the part. I mean, it was definitely before you meet Johnny Silverhand. So, like the actual title of the game didn't even. It was maybe an hour and a half, I would say, but the game was not in super great shape either. It was, it had just launched, so and I just didn't feel compelled, at all to continue to play. And I know they reworked a bunch of the skill trees too. So yeah, this is the perfect time I think to jump back into Cyberpunk. But yeah, it's I'm probably about 6 hours in maybe. I'm really enjoying the world, man. The story I think is really, really good. Super intriguing. It's definitely making me want to come back to it. Gameplay wise, I mean, it feels really, really good. I haven't noticed. I mean, I'm sure there has been some hiccups here and there, but I haven't noticed any. I've been mainly playing docked. I did try out the mouse controls the other day. Were just fine. Not a mouse and keyboard gamer, so it was a little bit jarring to play that way. Especially with you still have to use all the buttons on the Joy-Con that you're using as the mouse, which is, and I probably can remap it, but I didn't. I just did. I was like, let me just try it out as intended. So that was a little bit kind of confusing to get used to. But again, like I'm not a mouse and keyboard user, so maybe someone who is frequent with that maybe can pick that up a little bit quicker than I. But that mode ran super well. Pretty seamless. Switching between that and like using the controller. But
it's seamless as just like picking up a Joy-Con and putting it down on a surface, and it'll automatically.
No, you do have to go into the settings and switch over to mouse controls.
Okay.
So it's not that quick. And And I don't know. I may need to try it out because when after I tried the mouse and keyboard or the mouse mode, I had just turned it off and then I just docked it the next time and then just picked up my controller. I didn't even think about it being on that setting. So maybe now that it's switched to that, I wonder if I could do that.
I bet it's seamless now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, game runs great. It looks great. I mean, CD Projekt Red said that this is probably the best version, maybe, of Cyberpunk. Potentially, right? I think, isn't that what they said? Maybe
is that
not.
What they said?
Maybe they did.
Maybe portably.
Yeah, it might be the best like handheld version because it was built from the ground up.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than the Steam Deck.
Yeah. I think that's the more accurate statement. But yeah, it's Cyberpunk. If you're into Cyberpunk, you're into it. If you're not, you're not. But I am definitely glad that I did pick this up and gave it another shot. So
nice. I mean, that is like, this is one of the third-party marquee titles that came out with the Switch 2. It's one of the only ones that got a physical version.
Yeah, so this is we're going to talk about here in a second potentially about it feeling a little bit bare with Switch 2 games to play at launch, but yeah, this is like the big marquee single player experience, and I think that's what Nintendo was shooting for.
Supplementing their own first party stuff with,
because they could have launched with DK, but I don't know if they didn't want to mess up the sales of Mario Kart. I don't really know why.
I don't know if they needed to. I think that's their whole rationale is like, why do we need to launch Donkey Kong with the Switch 2 when we know that Mario Kart is going to sell?
Yeah,
amazing.
But also, I just don't think those sales would have been any lower if they would have just released a DK, because people are itching. I think people are itching to play new games, and as many people that yeah, exactly, and as many people bought all the accessories. I mean, that was kind of the funnest part of the Switch 2 launch, was getting all the camera and the controller and the extra Joy-Cons and the amiibos and some of the games and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, we don't have to wait. I mean, I'm not sitting here complaining that there wasn't anything to play, but it would have been nice if DK was here for sure.
Yeah.
Or Metro Prime 4. Damn it.
God, yeah. Metro Prime 4 would have been, I mean, we talked about this ad nauseum before the Switch 2 launched, or even the launch games were announced, but
yeah,
Prime 4 and Mario Kart World would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's such a different audience, but it gives you a holistic experience.
And I think honestly it would have sold better in the long run, because you're getting you don't have a lot of games at launch to play already. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff if you haven't played them before, but I feel like that could have helped Metro Prime, just because it being a launch title and saying, hey, this is our flagship not multiplayer, but flagship single player game with the mouse controls.
Yeah, that's also what it was missing, is a really good mouse control game.
But I mean, also maybe they just wanted to highlight Cyberpunk, right? And really, because that's the big thing with the Switch 2, is they have got to get third party back, and maybe launching with Metro Prime 4 would kind of cut into the sales that Cyberpunk would have made. So I think they're trying to get a lot of goodwill for third party. So I get it, but still,
I mean, let me ask you a question. If Prime 4 would have launched with Switch 2, would you have picked up Cyberpunk?
I probably would have.
You think so?
I think so. Maybe not day one, but probably within the coming weeks, I probably would have picked it up. Maybe.
I think you're capping. I think you're capping a little bit. I think between Mario Kart World and Metro Prime 4, you'd have been loaded up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be purchasing Fast Fusion, Bravely Default, and wouldn't have bought Pokemon Scarlet.
True.
Had Metro Prime 4 been coming out.
Yeah. I think in the, maybe in the long term of just trying to get that goodwill with third, I think they did the right thing. And I think just comparing to Switch 1 launch, which I mean, it launched with Breath of the Wild. Like that's like one of, if not the best game that came out on the Switch, and we got that at launch is insane. So that's going to be very hard to beat.
You know what's weird? People kind of shit on the launch lineup on the Switch 1.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best launch lineups of any console in recent memory. Like launching with
it's
Breath
better
of the Wild,
better on PlayStation, better on Xbox. Yeah, I mean, Breath of the Wild alone, if it didn't have anything else and it was just Breath of the Wild, I mean, that's already better than.
Yeah, like better than Wii U. I think better. Maybe better than Wii. I don't know. I mean, Wii Sports had
Twilight Princess at launch. I mean, that was pretty.
Yeah, okay, that was a really, really good launch. Like that covered every base.
I guess like my thing is I think Zelda just makes a Nintendo launch just really, really special.
But what about Wind Waker on GameCube? How about that?
Yeah, that was also like an incredible.
Well, no, I mean NSO.
Oh, I mean,
technically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but it's not the Wind Waker that we wanted.
It's like I don't want to play it again on GameCube.
Yeah, and like the better version is on the Wii U. I mean, it's kind of streamlined the whole Triforce Quest the Triforce Quest pieces. Like, I mean, the game still looks incredible. Like, it is such. I know it's up-res and stuff like that, but I mean, God, what a timeless art style they chose for Wind Waker.
Yeah. So, I guess we're kind of getting into it, but
yeah.
And actually, let me go through it. Let's go through the rest of the launch lineup that we've been playing, just real quick. So, I'm like 2 hours into Bravely Default.
Yeah,
and I've played a couple of more times throughout the past few days, and I'm starting to really get into it again.
Yeah, I am too. Auto battle is key to this game.
Yes, because even you kind of needed to grind at the beginning of the game before the first boss, because you needed to get to like level 7, around level 7 to be able to actually beat the boss. Because I failed a few times. I was like, damn. I need to go back and grind, and like that's kind of exciting.
It's tough. I really At first, I was kind of like, man, like I like this, but just coming off of Expedition 33 and that just being just S tier,
just the best
JRPG, like turn-based RPG, and then coming to this, and it's not quite as
not quite as streamlined, not quite as
there's not a lot of interactivity as far as like dodging and parry. Like it's just different, and that's okay. But yeah, once I got through it and I did unlock like the auto battle stuff, like that really like helped out so much. And to explain what that is you basically do a turn or do like a fight, and it'll copy your exact moves that you want to use. So most of the time, like I'm not deep enough to the game where I really need to like default yet. So I've just been
bravely all the way, baby.
All the way. Which is it just really, really speeds up the kind of in between battles and stuff like that. So really enjoying
basically it. You're like writing a script.
Yeah.
That replicates. I think for those who are like kind of on the fence about it, or have played it and aren't super into it yet, I would play until
the airship.
Definitely the airship, but like getting the white mage and the ability to use the actual white magic, and then the black mage. Yeah, those are key. Like those change the gameplay a lot more so than
you can start doing different types of it's like the freelancer and like the monk class are like pretty similar,
pretty bare bones, pretty similar.
Yeah, like they're pretty just straight melee, pretty much. But I think you're right. Once you get like the two mages, I think that's really when it starts to open up as far as having options in combat. So it's really cool.
And that's like an hour and a half in. So
it's not a lot of asking time. Yeah. And you can, and I really like games where they allow you to turn off like the battles and stuff if you don't want, if you're just trying to, if you die and you don't want to fight the same enemies over and over again to get to place, you can just turn it off completely, or you can up it to 200% and that's when the grind really kicks in. So yeah, just love that kind of stuff. And then like the whole street pass element that they implemented it back into this game is neat.
I've summoned you a bunch of times.
Yeah, I've summoned Tiz and from you and a whole bunch of other players that you come across. So yeah, it's super cool, man. It's
also
it's
the whole
really unique game.
The whole town building mechanic too.
I remember
that from the 3DS. That. Like I loved that on 3DS. I would look forward. This is gonna sound so fucking lame. I would look forward to going to sleep because I could close my 3DS and my little villagers would work on stuff.
But that's over the course of 12 hours. Like part of what made the 3DS and games like that so charming is, and I know it's like, nowadays, you play all these stupid farm simulators and all these like mobile free to play games, and you're literally waiting. So maybe that is not as cool and like a unique concept as it was back then. But yeah, it is pretty neat doing that. But and like I know last week we were kind of talking about the art style. I really enjoy the art of the game, like the visuals when you're in like some of the vistas, like when you're in the town, when you're in like the airship and stuff. It's really when you're not in those areas in the overworld map, some of the dungeons, like it looks a little bit muddy, but
it looks how you remember it looking on 3DS, which isn't a great thing.
Yeah.
For this type of game, like
but it doesn't like sour the experience or anything like that. I just kind of wish they would have done the whole 2D, 2D, 3D kind of 3D, 2D, whatever.
HD 2D.
HD 2D, yeah.
3D 2D. 4D 2D.
But I like this game. I like this game a lot. Like last night, I spent like 20 minutes just sitting there on my couch. Like, do I want to play Bravely Default or do I want to play Cyberpunk? And I couldn't make up my mind. And then I was like, I got to play some more Cyberpunk. But yeah, super, super fun game. I talked briefly about Mario Kart. I mean, I think I was just telling you before the podcast, I think I'm to the point where I've got my fill of Mario Kart. And that's how I was. That's how I hate it. That's how I was with Mario Kart 8. Like, I really enjoyed it until I didn't, or it wasn't like kind of scratching that itch. I don't love like the free roam stuff. Like I feel like it's pretty underbaked. I wish they just would have done something more. And I don't know if like maybe like more stuff to unlock, like other than just costumes, like something like that. I don't know. I don't know what they could have done. Like I don't expect there to be a single player mode, like because it's almost impossible to create like a single player mode in a racing game, right. So like I'm not faulting the game for not having a story, but I just wish they did something more with like I wanted like that Burnout Paradise vibe I got with this game, and it's not scratching the same itch I got with Burnout Paradise. Like Burnout Paradise, I barely even raced. I just loved driving in that world and just doing stuff,
crashing into billboards and
So I wish there was more stuff like that, and maybe like I made a video where like I don't think it's worth $80 yet, but I think they're going to add on, and I think that's what they could potentially make this game better over time, and they will, and it's already a great game too. Like I'm sounding very negative, but
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So I agree, and I agree with your video. My problem with the single player is twofold. One, wait, I lost my train of thought. I'll just start with my second thought first, and I'll go to the first. First is, and this is a problem with this game and Welcome Tour, but what is up with their like obsession with stamps and stickers?
It's always been that way.
Like even with a Super Mario Bros. Wonder, like that had the what's it called? Like the sign. Like I can't remember what those were called, but they were like a sticker equivalent.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean, 3D World had that. Like there was
no one wants
I don't
those.
give a
Like,
shit.
that is not a compelling collection item. Like
that's like the equivalent of like Assassin's Creed like feathers or whatever. Like they don't do anything. You know, you don't collect, like they don't do anything. You know, they just
yeah. And I would be more compelled to do the P-switches and the medallions and all that kind of stuff if I unlock something a little bit better than just a sticker that I could put on one part of my car. Going into this, I thought you could decorate or like deck out your entire
you can actually use the
car.
stickers? You can put them on the car?
Yeah, you can put them on the car, but you can put them in one spot. You could only put one sticker in one spot. I thought you could deck out your entire cart with stickers. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that would be compelling. But you can't do that. You can only place them on the designated spot. And my other problem I just remembered is there's no tracking of the P-switches that you found, the medallions that you found, the question mark blocks that you've run over. Like there's
because they don't disappear, right? Like once you beat them in the overworld, do they disappear? No, or they stay there?
They stay there. They gray out, so you can see that you've done it when you're looking at it in the world.
But you can't see it on the map.
Yeah, if I were to blow up the map, like you can't see what you've done. I wish they would have separated the world into regions and like at least had like a counter, or something for the P-switches, so I could see like which ones I haven't unlocked. But maybe that doesn't matter because I'm sure the reward for unlocking all the P-switches or doing all the P-switches is nothing or negligible.
Probably is. What do you even get for doing the P-switches? Do you just get coins?
You get stickers. You get more stickers.
You get stickers. Okay.
Yeah, it's all stickers. And it drives me nuts because like the challenges themselves are really fun and they're really compelling. And like when I see one, I want to do one.
Yeah.
But the reward is just it's just not there. And I don't know what they could have done in place of stickers, but it's just weird. Like I guess they could have done carts like, hey, you unlock a certain card if you've completed 10 P-switches or 20 P-switches or 30. Yeah. Instead, they've gated those.
God, there's just like 300
based off of the coins. Too. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a whole lot. Like they could have done characters that way too. They could have done. I don't know. I feel like there's like modifiers they could have had you unlock via the P-switches, but
yeah, it's just literally
just weird. It's a weird open world. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't think there is a reward for being all of them, which I mean sounds. I mean that's like same thing with the Korok stuff, you know, and Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
I would never do all that.
Yeah, like I'll do them if I come across them and they're kind of convenient for me to do. Other than that, like I have no sense of urgency to do any of those because I know the reward is literal shit. So like I'm good. You know, I don't need that.
Was that right? The same in Tears of the Kingdom? The reward was.
I don't know what it is in Tears of the Kingdom.
I bet it's similar.
Yeah, it's probably just as crummy, but so yeah, like you know, and then we talked about like the online stuff, like being able to lobby up with your friends and play online. That's kind of annoying. You know, I feel like the knockout tour specifically for the single player, like I feel is like really, really unbalanced. Like I feel, and I know people are gonna be like, oh, it's a skill issue. And maybe it is, you know, it could very well be that, but I feel like once the computers get ahead of you, they get like really ahead of you, there's just no way for you to come back at all. You know, even if you have, a blue shell or something like that. And then just, I don't know. I wish like maybe in the online, they didn't have an option to turn items off or like, you know, I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes like the RNG of the items is usually unfair in my favor. And again, the skill issue, I get that, but it feels bad when you're in first and you're like, well, I'm going to get hit by the blue shell. It's just going to happen. And then I'm going to probably go into 10th place or something like that. Like that's just, and then I'm like, well, should I even shoot for first place? Should I just stay like you said before the podcast? Should I just kind of stay in third and then just hope I'm close enough at the point where the blue shell comes? Cause it's going to come. It's, I don't know. It's not fun when you have to think about that.
That's fair. Yeah, because the losses are more extreme, just like the wins are more extreme.
Yeah.
Like when you get that bullet bill and you go from 22nd place to 5th place, like that feels really good. That's super fun. Going from first to 22nd feels really shitty.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a balancing act. I'm still torn on if I like this better than 12-person races or if I like those better in Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Like 8, I felt like, no matter how many blue shells were thrown at you, at the end of the day, it was still down to your skill. How good are you drifting? How well do you know the map? Whereas in Mario Kart World, you can know the map like the back of your hand, but there's still those like straightaways in between the maps in Knockout Tour where there's just the chance that you get hit with like a boomerang, a blue shell, red shell, green shell. Like with having 24 players, there's just so much being thrown around.
It's so chaotic.
It's chaotic. Yeah, it's really chaotic. And like that leads to a lot of fun moments, but it also leads to a lot of frustrating moments where you get hit with 3 things in a row. And then suddenly you're missing the gate. You're missing the 16th, like the gate for 16 players, and you're out.
Qualifier gate, yeah.
Yeah, the qualifier gate. And like that can get frustrating. But at the same time, like it's a party game. It's meant to be a party game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still, like, as far as your like quote unquote rank goes, which you start out at 3,000, I think you go up from there. But like as far as that goes, you get rewarded for most places in the ranking. Like if you're like 16th place, you still get some amount of points.
Yeah.
So like you're still getting rewarded. Like even if you get 5th place in Knockout Tour, that still feels like a win in my book because you've beat out 19 other people. Like that's a success in my book. But it does get frustrating. When
and then last thing I want to gripe on, and then we can move away from Mario Kart. I still don't like the attributes for the carts and like the hidden attributes for the characters. Like if that's going to be there, I wish that you choose your character, have some sort of like save system where you choose a character and then you pick a cart. And then you have the attributes, and then like if you change to another cart, like it tells you like what's like like a separate bar or something that tells you like how much it increases or decreases by. Again, like I know they tried to get away from like all that stuff, like with every little bit of the cart having some sort of attribute, but they still have a hidden one with the characters, and it's like I shouldn't have to Google what the best combinations are. It should just be in the game. I know a lot of games do that. Like I love Dark Souls games, and like a lot of that time you have to Google stuff.
Well,
and I get
that's single player though.
But that's a single player, like pretty complicated video game versus Mario Kart. It's like again, like you mentioned, it's a party game. It's a kids game. Like there's too much stuff going on behind the scenes where it just makes it a little bit frustrating. And they could just lay that stuff out for you.
And not to make you more mad, but even on top of the stats that they display for the carts, there are also more hidden stats. Like, oh, maybe this cart will go faster on water. This one goes faster on sand.
And it doesn't tell you that, and that's like super annoying.
That's not apparent. You just have to use like I guess your judgment on like what you think would ride better on sand. But even that doesn't matter because you don't know what race you're going into.
Yeah.
So like, why
it helps like when if you're doing like a Grand Prix or something, and you
like an offline Grand Prix.
The single player stuff like that can come into play pretty well. But
like give those stats, like display those stats. Just say, hey, this is better on water. Hey, this is like an all around card. This is better on sand.
Yeah, it's a little like just it should not be that complicated, and it's not super complicated, but like as a party game, like just come on, like it's a little bit too much, but
yeah.
But I really like Mario Kart. It's still a fun game, man. It's still when you're in the thick of it, it is a fun video game. There's just some things that I think could be improved.
It's like my warm-up game to playing other games on the Switch too. Like I'll play a few rounds of Mario Kart and then I'll switch over to Fantasy Life or Fast Fusion or something else.
Yeah. I think I've talked about everything that I've been playing. Nick, talk to me about whatever else you want to talk to me about.
I know I've talked about Fantasy Life a few times on here. Harrison, you need to play this game.
I almost bought it last night, but I was like,
you should have.
I've got to. I can't be playing 3 RPGs at once. I'd kill myself.
This one is less intensive than Cyberpunk. You just vibe out. You do what you want.
Yeah.
But I've been having such a blast with this on the Switch 2. It runs at 60 frames on the Switch 2. It's amazing. It looks really great. I know I've said this before, but it reminds me of RuneScape a lot, where you can pick whatever life you want, whether that's a miner or not a miner, like a miner, like mining rocks, or paladin, a woodcutter, and you can just level up those areas, like level up that skill. You're going from apprentice all the way up to master of each life that you take on. And there's different challenges to rank up. So like there's always something to do. I'm having an incredible time with it. I'm like 37 hours in. I've completed the main story, but I'm still doing all of the additional stuff that you can do. There's so much, from base building all the way to the roguelike section where you like plant a tree and you can just go through like these randomized dungeons essentially. And that's just on top of the main game and the big open world area that is split into sections that you can level up each section based off of like challenges that you've completed in each area, which levels up the rewards you get and the mining material. Like there is so much to this game. I can't understate it enough. Like there's an unbelievable amount of stuff to do.
That's cool.
There's something for everyone. Like
this
is like the game I would recommend on Switch 2 right now. Over Mario Kart World, I'd recommend it over.
Is this how high is this on your?
This is number 2 right now. This is number 2.
Okay.
I think next week we should go through. Yeah, you know, number 1. I think next week we should go through our top 5 for the first half of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
About halfway through the year. Yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend this game for fans of RuneScape, for fans of any like action RPG, like sim games, and even that stuff is like it's not required. I've barely done any of the Animal Crossing side of the game. I've just been doing combat stuff, life stuff.
Yeah.
So wholeheartedly recommend. Can't recommend this game enough.
Sweet.
Also been playing Fast Fusion. If you're looking for a break from racing in Mario Kart World and you want to race a little bit faster, if you're missing 200cc.
Also crazy that's not in.
Yeah, also crazy. Fast Fusion is really good. I've almost finished the first, like, I think it's called like subatomic. It's like the 50cc mode. You have to play through all of the Grand Prix before you can go on to the quote unquote 100cc and 150cc. So those are going to be even faster, but even the Grand Prix that I've played so far have been extremely fun. The game looks great. It's running in an upscaled 4K, 60 FPS. It looks like you're moving incredibly fast. It looks super great.
Have you played F-Zero on the NSO, the GameCube?
I did, yeah.
Okay. How does that compare with pretty?
It feels like a better version of that.
Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That's what they're kind of going for. Okay.
Yeah, it feels very fast, but yeah, in my opinion, feels like a better version.
Cool.
Of F-Zero on the GameCube. So yeah, and this is only $15, so it's pretty cheap, and I think it's worth it in my opinion. There's like a fusing mechanic where you can unlock different cars, and then you can fuse them together and kind of combine their stats and make the best car available. So it's pretty cool.
Cool.
And then really quick, I've played the updated version of Splatoon 3 on the Switch 2 that runs, I think, at a bit of a higher resolution. In the hub area runs at 60 frames per second. Played a few rounds there, got absolutely smacked around. Like I didn't even belong. Like I honestly didn't belong.
Gyro controls players, they just kill you.
And thing is, I was using gyro controls, but I was still getting smacked around. It had been so long since I had played any game with gyro controls that I just wasn't used to it. Yeah. I was getting smacked around, but game looked great.
Sweet.
And then very, very last thing here, I did pick up Pokemon Scarlet last week. Been playing through like the opening area of that game. I still haven't made it to the city.
Okay.
So I need to play a bit more of it, but visually and
hey Womp,
the game runs great.
Okay.
And
I did boot it up a little bit. And yeah, it does run like a solid 60. So it
it doesn't look good.
Horrible. Yeah, it's
not horrible. It's not horrible. It doesn't look perfect. That being said, I'm having a lot of fun. I love the fact that you can just send out your Pokemon to fight kind of in real time.
Yeah.
I'd kind of forgotten that. I know I had seen that in like the trailers, all that kind of stuff back before it released, but I forgot that was a thing. So that reminded me of Pokemon Arceus a little bit. So that was very exciting. So I'm excited to play more of it. And this makes me more excited for Pokemon Legends ZA.
Yeah, I think I'm more excited for that game now that the Switch 2 is here and we know it's going to be the better version and run better. So yeah, I'm definitely way more excited now that I've got my hands on a Switch 2. All right, anything else?
I think before we move on from the Switch 2,
sure.
Can we definitively agree that the Switch 1 lineup was better?
I think so. I think just having Breath of the Wild there, it's almost unbeatable. Like, maybe if Tears of the Kingdom launched with Switch 2, like that would be the only other game, or a brand new Switch, or a Mario, a 3D Mario or something like
3D
that.
Mario
Could have, but I'm not. I think it was a decent launch lineup overall. There's a lot to play. And in line with the Xbox Series X and PS5, there wasn't a ton of new stuff to play either. There's a lot of like updates to older games and stuff like that. So it's fun going to those other games and seeing them play better. And that's kind of part of that. So I'm not critiquing it in that way if we're going to compare everything together. But yeah, Switch 1 lineup was definitely better.
Wom, to answer your question, I've played the new Splatoon update. To be honest, I haven't played since like 2022 or early 2023. So
same.
I'm not too keen on all of the weapons, the meta, that kind of stuff. But I had fun from like the few rounds that I played.
45-minute introduction of every single new weapon. They've got to get rid of that.
Going to the weapon shop,
you had to
you have to sit through like all the introductions to the weapons. That took a long time, and then of course like the map updates from the announcers, like that takes a while too. But game looks great. I had a lot of fun playing. I'm really excited for Raiders whenever that comes out, and this makes me want to pick up Side Order, like the Splatoon 3 DLC.
Yeah. See, I never played that. So
yeah, I really want to try that out.
Is that part of NSO or no?
No, that's separate.
Okay.
The Splatoon 2 DLC is part of
NSO. Part of it. Okay. I guess real quick on Splatoon, it's Splatoon 4. We know it's coming. The Splatoon franchise has done like incredibly well on the Switch. What is there like? I just don't know if they could do a fourth game of like the same kind of thing. Like I feel like they need to do something completely different. Any thoughts on what you would want out of a next Splatoon, like the evolution of it?
I mean, I think it'd be cool to have more players.
Yeah,
maybe like
I guess 4v4 has been like the whole thing.
Like an 8v8 would be really cool, kind of like a big team battle mode.
Yeah,
you could keep similar game types, but having more players would be really cool. Having mouse controls would be really awesome. I think Raiders will have mouse controls, but
I think so too.
Yeah.
I heard good thing about side order.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on the fence about a Switch 2, I mean, and you've got the funds ready to go, and it's just kind of burning your hole in your wallet, I would say pick it up. I think there's nothing wrong with being an early adopter. That's
and getting in before the tariffs too.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like if you can find one, I haven't seen any since launch week personally in my like local Targets or Walmarts, but if you can find one, I would say go ahead and get it because you just don't know what's going to happen with the tariffs. It is expensive for sure.
Yeah,
and especially if you're going to get the Mario Kart bundle, I mean, that's $500. But
it is easier now to like
yeah
trade in your system and keep all of your saves and stuff just because of the Nintendo account linking, which didn't really exist between the Wii U and the Switch. And
it's
like
super seamless. Like the process of getting everything switched over to the Switch 2, it's very, very seamless, and everything still stays on your Switch. You don't have to worry about stuff getting deleted. So I don't know if I know this answer or if you do or not. Animal Crossing, does that work on the Switch 2 with the same island? Because I know the island was tied to the Switch itself and not the cloud. Do we know that?
I lost my island on what after I switched to the
OLED,
the Switch Lite. I think I lost my island, so I don't have it. I know now you can upload it to the cloud, so you can bring it over. I think that was an update in like 2022. But damn, like I lost all my stuff. I spent like a year.
Yeah, that's super shitty. Like, I don't know why they did that. That's crazy. Yeah, the skins and stuff in Mario Kart World are super cool.
They're pretty fun.
Yeah, they're pretty fun and like goofy.
I've had a lot of fun unlocking those.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's dive over into the news. So I guess we'll start with the kind of the bigger story. Marathon got delayed. I don't think to anybody's surprise. I think that alpha that came out was pretty lackluster. And it's just been negativity since. I mean, the whole art scandal of them stealing art assets from that one artist, and I think a whole like more than just one. The morale of Bungie has been down for their workers, and the fact, and I don't understand why this is the case with. I know it's not just the game industry, but it feels like it mainly happens here. Is why the hell are workers finding out about a game getting delayed on Twitter? Like, is management just not doing like what are they? They don't tell their workers that hey, we're going to delay the game. Like they have to find this out on Twitter of all places. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's so dumb. Like I just don't understand. Like they make the decision. They're like we have to tweet it out right now. Like why wouldn't you prep your people? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it happens. I feel like communicating it to your employees is kind of an afterthought, and a lot of people are very focused on communicating to the community first.
And I'm not talking like they need a week in advance. I'm talking like maybe just tell them
like
first,
a few hours.
Send like an internal email out and say, hey, this is what we're doing. And then you tell them, because obviously you're going to have people go on potential of someone saying something, but it's just weird, man. It's very odd. I
mean, this entire marathon situation from the jump has been very strange.
Yeah.
That this doesn't surprise me. Like it seems like Bungie has been mismanaged a bit for a long time. And
they have. I mean, they're not the Bungie of old that we're used to with Halo. I mean,
no,
they're just not.
It's a completely different company now, and that's not to Sony's fault either. Like Like
No, they were already
this way before. Yeah, they were already in place before the acquisition happened. But I mean, you've talked about this before. Like you've brought this up before, but I think they kind of oversold themselves to Sony a bit.
Yeah,
and oversold their capabilities. I just don't think there's ever going to be a world where Marathon comes out whenever it does and is a success. Like I hate to say it, and I'm not hoping for this game to fail, but I just can't see it.
I think PlayStation needs to cancel the game. I'm going to be brutally honest. Like, don't even. Just you've wasted
Won't even have
so
another
much
Concord situation.
Yeah, you've wasted so much time, and you already know that's what a lot of gamers are gonna think. Like, why am I gonna pay $40? Because we already know it's gonna be a paid. And maybe that's gonna change now. I don't know, but as of right now, like, we know it's gonna be probably a $40 to $50 game. And yeah, what are the odds that they're gonna cancel this thing? Within a week. Just like they did Concord when they shut down everything. So I think they've wasted so much money on this live service venture. It's just been like, I'm going to say it again. It's been an abysmal failure. They need to just cut their losses.
Get out of this.
Yeah, cut their losses. And because if that game comes out and it sucks, or it doesn't have the player base, like that is going to. I mean, they're just going to get super criticized online, like they already are. They cannot have another Concord situation. They just, the second it launches on Steam, when it launches on Steam, concurrence, and like they cannot have another Concord situation. I would say, and I got this idea from Snowbite Mike on Kind of Funny. You either cancel the game, or because I know we're supposed to get an update like in fall, so that it's not even guaranteed that this game is coming out this year. Launch it. He said launch it in like March, and then what's right around the corner, GTA 6, and then just let it die. Let it slowly die. You can blame it on GTA 6. Just cancel the game at this point. Nobody. The extraction shooters are already pretty niche. Like I know there's like Escape from Tarkov, like that's relatively popular, but they're not on the scale of like a Fortnite or like an Apex.
What was the recent one that was in beta?
Arc Raiders. I think a lot of people liked. I think a lot of people did enjoy that one. But I don't know. I think the game just looks uninspired. Like I do not like the art style. I don't think anybody wants this game. To be honest,
And yeah, and to get back to PlayStation really quick. I think they set a really weird precedent with Concord by canceling it or shutting down servers after 2 weeks. If that was Ubisoft, they would have kept that game on life support for like 5 years.
Yeah, and I'm not saying and probably made it good. And Concord wasn't bad per se. Like it wasn't anything to stand out. Yeah, it wasn't anything new or fresh. It was just more of the same,
And I'm not saying they should have kept it alive. Like I don't know if they should have kept it alive for that long, but now they've set a precedent of if a live service game underperforms at launch and doesn't get a lot of steam going for it, we'll just shut it down. And that doesn't give a lot of confidence in your player base. Like, why would anyone invest in Marathon? Why would they buy like skins or anything? I don't know if Marathon's going to have skins, but like, why would you invest in that ecosystem? Yeah. Why would you invest in the ecosystem if you're afraid that it's going to get shut down in a month, 2 weeks?
I mean, personally with Concord, like I feel like they shut it down too quick. I think they should have offered refunds to people that wanted it. And then just made it free to play, and then give it maybe a couple of months and just see what happens. And if it's still bad, and people aren't enjoying it, and there's just nobody there, then shut it down and just call it a loss. Because I mean, you've already invested 200 plus whatever the amount is. So like, why not keep it alive for? I know, like at that point you have to pay for servers and blah blah blah, and you could potentially be just sinking more money into a sinking ship. I think if this game doesn't come out free to play, I just don't think they learned any lessons from Concord. Like, at least give the game a shot to have a decent player base.
Yeah.
Charging money for this thing just feels like, I don't know, a slap in the face.
We did confirm that Sony was publishers for Helldivers too.
Yes, they don't own the studio, but they are the publishers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they used that as precedent for Concord. Concord didn't work. Now the question is, what do they do? Do you go back? Do you go to free to play? Do you go to $40? Do you go to an even more budget title? Do you follow what? I mean, there have been so many successes this year that have been less than $60 between Clair Obscur. Blueprints was a big success. I mean, Oblivion was huge.
Yeah, huge.
Like, do you try to follow that
and I
market?
Think Helldivers
sub 40.
Like, and Helldivers, like Helldivers 2 is kind of an extraction shooter, isn't it? Like, not.
Yeah,
like
no, it's exactly it. Yeah, it's an extraction shooter.
But it's also PvE, right? Like, you're just dicking around with your friends and having a good time. Like in Marathon, like it's PvE and PvP. So it's like you still have to like. I don't know. I just don't. Yeah, I don't. That just doesn't sound fun to me. And I know extraction shooters definitely are not my. Yeah, definitely not my thing. But yeah, and I'll definitely give that a shot. But maybe if they had like a PvE mode, I don't know if that's going to be at launch, or they're even considering that. If it's just straight PvE VP, I don't know, man. It just game doesn't look great in my opinion. I just don't think that alpha it did way more harm than it did good.
Yeah, and all the art stuff didn't help.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think the art style of the game. I don't like that either. It's just nothing about the game just
like it's ripped
to me at all
from someone else, and it's not a super compelling art style.
Yeah,
it's just not a good combination, and like the gameplay seems pretty generic.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Like we said this before, PS5 generation has been a bit of a wash. Like you could argue
terrible for PlayStation.
All the games that you want to play, you could play on PS4. God of War, Ragnarok. Yeah. I mean, you played that on PS4.
Yeah, it ran great. Right? I mean, there were definitely some frame issues in certain spots, but yeah, I mean, I had a great time with Ragnarok. I mean, outside of the PlayStation selling well, and third party kind of carrying it on both sides, but
yeah. PS5 has been carried by third party. It's been carried by Silent Hill, Stellar Blade, Black Myth. Like those are the games that we've been excited for in the past couple of years. I mean, I know I had the Spider-Man 2 and I had Ratchet and Clank, Demon's Souls. Those were all great games.
They lost their way this generation. They absolutely did. Like they just, I don't know. They just forgot the fact that they are like the prestige single player, studios that they have.
Story driven, sad dad.
That's what people want, And like I understand like venturing out and trying new things, but first of all, to even like I would have actually I wanted to play Last of Us Factions like that. Out of all the shit that they created and were thinking about, like that was like the one that was the most compelling to me. Because like the Last of Us multiplayer was actually pretty fun. Like same with like Uncharted and stuff. So like I knew that they had the chops to make something super super fun. But that was Bungie coming in there and saying no, this is not live service enough. You need to have more of this and more of that. And it's like, man, like
that was a mistake.
Yeah, that was a mistake to let them consult on that. But man, yeah. And just the fact that they were even trying to build 12, like you understand that there so many people only have so much time, and you want them to invest into 12 games. And I know those games are going to be different in
Warzone and Fortnite.
Yeah, and they're not going to expect every single player to play all 12 of those games. Like I guess they wanted like a broad, a bunch of games, different, but 12 seems crazy. 12 live service games that you have to pay for servers, and that just seems
like imagine if Nintendo said that.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like that would be crazy, and it was crazy when Sony said it, and it's still crazy now. They've had one success with Helldivers, and they've scrapped other projects. Like they scrapped the Ben Studios game. What was it called? Blue Point was working on a live service game that got scrapped. Like, why weren't they working on a fucking Bloodborne remaster?
There was that live service Spider-Man game that also could have kind of been cool. You know, that concept of like the multiverse stuff. Yeah, it's like, man, like what are y'all? I don't know.
Like use your IP that you built up during the PS4 generation, like Last of Us, Spider-Man. Use God of War. Use Uncharted. Uncharted had a really cool multiplayer. You played it. You liked the Uncharted 3 multiplayer, Uncharted 2, whatever it was.
It's fantastic.
Use those. Like build these build these smaller multiplayer experiences as well that aren't like so contingent on success that they can just exist in their own universe.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, like Sony, man.
These companies, they need to utilize their IP more and make smaller things. Like it's so frustrating. I don't get why they don't make just smaller, not even multiplayer stuff, just smaller pieces of content. Like you could charge $20 for a Last of Us story, you know, like you don't have to, it doesn't have to be this grand scoped, you know, game, you know, it could be more of the same, you know, the same gameplay or different, you know, whatever. Like I said it before, but The Last of Us is like such a cool universe, and you could just do so many different tiny stories of like from day zero to all the way to whatever. Like there's so much they could do with it, and they just don't. And
there's a lot of
being
really
left on the table.
Like a lot of really cool Rogue One type experiences that you could build out with Last of Us. That would be on like the level of the Bill and Frank episodes, or the Bill and Frank episode of Last of Us season 1. Like,
I'm gonna be.
They could do that. Yeah, and then they turn around.
The more I get away from that show, I think the least I've liked it less and less. The more I think about it, because I was telling Brittany about it, my wife.
I think there are two standout episodes. There are two standout episodes. The second one.
I'm very happy that we get like an Abby themed season next.
I'm ready for a break.
Because I don't know if I want to see any more Bella Ramsey, to be honest. I just do not like her variation of Ellie. But anyways,
it's not Bella Ramsey. I mean, I don't blame Bella. I blame Craig Mazin.
Yeah,
the choice that he made for this show.
Yeah.
So, all that being said,
all right.
Marathon.
Marathon is probably going to be DOA or get canceled. Let's move on to happier thoughts here. Switch 2 has sold probably more now, but as of last week, it has sold 3.5 million units worldwide. So great success. Fastest selling,
biggest launch
console?
Biggest launch of any console ever.
Yeah,
like
which
that.
We kind of knew was coming. I mean, we knew
stock.
Yeah, they just had so much stock. I mean, the fact that a lot of people could get it day one is a testament to like how much Nintendo manufactured the Switch 2 and had it ready. I mean, they were prepared. I will give it the lot. You know, going up to the launch with all, you know, just everything and the negativity, it was not great. But at the end of the day, the launch itself was an absolute success. So kudos to them. We talked about it earlier, but Splatoon Raiders got announced. We know it's a standalone single player game. It's just for the Switch 2, right?
Yeah, just on the Switch 2. Don't know exactly what it is. We know there's a hub of some sort. I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of either like expedition type thing where you're going out on these runs and fighting monsters and getting materials and bringing them back, or it's going to be like not an extraction shooter, but multiplayer focused in that regard, where it's PvE.
Yeah.
Or at least some sort of like combination where you can either do single player or do PvE. But I'm excited for what this is. I hope it does something like different than Splatoon 1 through 3. I hope it changes up the formula. It seems like it is.
Yeah.
At this point, but I'm excited for this one. I really hope it comes out at least this year or early next year. I think it'll be pretty soon. I think it'll be sooner than we think.
I wonder if this is going to be. Do you think this is going to be like a full price thing?
I think so. I think it's gonna be $60. I don't think it'll be 70 or 80. I think it'll be 60.
I don't think so. Okay.
Yeah.
On Monday or yesterday, Nintendo announced that a Donkey Kong Direct is happening tomorrow on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're getting 15 minutes of new or just a Donkey Kong Direct. I think this is definitely needed. I think I'm very excited for this game. This game looks right up my alley on, a 3D platformer game that, we love with, Mario Odyssey. So I'm very, very, very excited for this game. I am a little tired of seeing like that same level and over and over again, like that whatever world that starting world you're in.
Yeah.
And we just seen so much of that from all the Switch 2 events and then just Treehouse stuff. We just seen a ton of it. I'm ready to see something. I don't need to see a lot because I'm already. This is already going to be a day one regardless. But I do want to see some other mechanics or just some other worlds or just something. And I'm sure we're going to get that. Their game focused directs are always really good. Xenoblade 3 for me, I wasn't going to pick that up, and then after I saw that direct, I was like, okay, I'm all in. So I think it's very important for them to do these types of directs for specific games that may need them. Donkey Kong's pretty popular, but this is the first Donkey Kong in 25 years. So
yeah, the Mario Kart World Direct definitely wasn't very good. It didn't give a lot of new information.
That was not a good one.
Hesitant coming onto this one. Hoping it's not the same thing where they just give us a bunch of information that we already know about and then sprinkle in like 2 minutes of new information. But
I want something like Tears of the Kingdom had. Like that wasn't like a direct per se, but it was like a presentation. Right. Like I want something like that where you have, someone talking over like, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. I just want to know more about this game. Like I want to know how the worlds are connected. Is it like big open areas? Yeah. Is it level based? How is the progression? Are you unlocking stuff? What's the
we do know there's fast travel in the game.
There's fast travel.
So, but yeah, I'm right there with you. I need to know a little bit more.
Are there stickers? Like to know. Can I unlock some nice stickers that I can put on Donkey Kong's ass? Like, are there new outfits? I'm sure there are like new outfits. And there's a theory because Mario Kart World only has one alternative DK outfit.
Okay.
There's a theory that Mario Kart World is going to get an update around the time of this direct to add new outfits for Donkey Kong. I think that's true because he's a mainline character and he's one of the only
throw in like a new track or something. Like they
they
built Mario Kart for like since they had all the different characters. They've always had all the characters, but with Link, in Mario Kart 8, like every time there's a new game comes out, like new track.
Use that as your marketing tool. Like use that as your
have maybe have the new track come out a week before, just so you don't want to, I guess you don't want to take away players from Mario Kart potentially, but I guess it doesn't matter. It's not once you buy it, that's it. There's no live servicey stuff, but yeah, like great use of marketing. So I feel like they and I think that's why they wanted Mario Kart out there day one is so they can just bring in.
They can use it as their tool, their catalyst. Yeah, I think that'd be great. I would love to see some like Bonanza related skins in Mario Kart World. But
yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, this game looks great. I'm really excited for all the mechanics that Bonanza is offering. I think it'll be fun to just destroy a level or just to explore it however you want to. We haven't really seen that before in a game, so I'm excited. Hopefully we get some really new information, some really exciting information, and maybe we see what that leaked was it the leaked Brazil box art with like baby Pauline or child Pauline on the cover.
Yeah.
In place of the little rock character. Hopefully we see whatever that transformation is. I'm sure like there's a lot of stuff that your little rock friend can do.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe
I'm
it's
excited.
like singing related. I don't know.
We'll know very, very soon.
Yeah.
Xbox confirmed. I mean, it was already kind of confirmed, but like the next gen Xbox is coming, and it's going to be an open platform, which we've talked about that already. It's like the fact that Xbox has been so open and they just want you to play their stuff everywhere. It wouldn't make sense for them to make. Yeah, it would not make sense for them to make a closed platform, going forward. So I'm not excited for this, to be honest. Like I just, like that's just kind of how I am with Xbox at the moment. Like in PlayStation as well. Like it's just more of the same, and how wishy-washy this generation was, and how it just still kind of felt like it hasn't really even got started first party wise. But that being said, like I'm glad they are working on stuff, because that's kind of always been up in the open. It's like, all right, are they going to be open doing something? Are they going to stop making consoles? But no, they're still dedicated. So and I think that's I think that's great for Xbox. That's kind of their big selling point going forward. Is you get the system, it's powerful. You have Game Pass, and then you can also play your Steam stuff. You can play your Epic Games. You can play everything on this specific device. It's probably going to cost like $900 freaking, but hey,
it's a good selling point though. You can play anywhere, as long as the Steam game or Epic Game Store game supports a controller. You can play with a controller
and them moving into like it being like Windows. It's built around when like there's no longer going to be like a separation between Windows and Xbox. It's just going to be Windows going forward.
That's what I'm worried about though, because I hate the Windows OS. So
I think they'll get it right. I think maybe we'll get an idea of it whenever it launches. The Xbox Ally launches. Maybe we'll get an idea of where they're at with that. That'll be kind of a testament of, or like a test of that OS going forward, but we'll see. Again, I'm not like excited and necessarily for it, but who knows where I'll be in a couple years from now. And I think it 2026 is what the rumor is.
I think late 2026.
Like, so
I'm more excited. I'm more excited about Xbox right now than I have been since
for sure,
like 2007. So 2008. So they've got a lot going for them on the software side. It's just delivering on the hardware side.
Yeah, making it compelling.
Yeah.
And then last up, Nick, Zelda, the Zelda movie. We know it had that 3 or 4 week delay. We got the news I think last week on the Nintendo Today app. They are looking for actors between 16 and 23 years old. So I mean,
pour one out
for Jack Black, The Rock,
for Chris Pratt.
Yeah, and that's not saying
Rock,
like
Tom
they're
Holland.
not, I mean, they're definitely going to have older actors in the movie, but yeah, we're not going to have Jack Black, an hour and a half of Jack Black yelling out Zelda items, which in a world, part of me is like that's
which
hilarious,
would be lit,
but also, yeah, it would be super hype. But yeah, I think that's what people kind of wanted, is like maybe we get some like maybe lesser like known actors, because they're going to make probably multiple movies. I'm sure the Zelda movie is going to be great. So no, it doesn't make a lot of sense to cast a 35-year-old, 40-year-old as Link. Just doesn't make, even if they have like more of like the feminine, or they just look super, super young. It just doesn't make sense. So it just makes more sense to hire somebody.
It's almost like James Bond. You want to get someone that can age up with you, even though they casted old.
Just don't do the Stranger Things route, and it takes 20 fucking years for 5 seasons of television. It's
just weird when there's a 30-year-old that's supposed to be in high school.
It just makes like I'm very excited for the final season, and I'm gonna be there. But damn, like,
is it even a season, or is it just 3 separate episodes?
I think it's 2 or 3 separate, like 2.5 hour, 2 hour episodes. Like, so like movies pretty much. I mean, but
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Like I'm excited. Like I that last season was pure cinema. I loved it. But
dude,
it took 5. Like, geez, man, it's insane how long it's been. So,
was that 2022 or 2021?
I think it was 2021. It was 2022, maybe. I don't know, but
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a very
TV show.
It's crazy, insane. So yeah, I think that makes sense. Cast younger actors, especially. I mean, Link. You know, they're also like kids, like in the game too. That they're not.
Yeah, you could take the angle of like young Link growing up, and then the second movie you have adult Link, and like you take that route. So there's a lot you could do with it. You don't need an established 30-year-old, 25-year-old Link.
Yeah,
at the jump, you can build to that.
How are you feeling about the Zelda movie overall? Like, are you
I'm still
excited for it?
I'm still
yeah. I'm not there, and I don't know. I mean, I'm never going to be there until we actually see it. And man, they've got to get it right, dude. Like they have to get. Like I like the Mario movie. I thought it was pretty good. But I'm excited because like I know like, and we'll definitely have to see it with each other, like in the movie theater for sure. Yeah. Like I want to go like full IMAX on this thing, and I know when they play like the music, like it's gonna make your hair stand up. It's gonna give you the chills. Like I can't wait. Like because I got that feeling when I watched the Mario movie. But I mean, this is
Zelda, I feel like that's even more so. Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm very, very interested in see how they handle it.
Yeah, seeing how heavily they lean into like the nostalgia bait of the music versus like trying to tell a new story or trying to tell like a unique story. Like, I don't know. I feel like they should just go the Ocarina of Time route, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, or like Twilight Princess or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, but
Skyward Sword.
I'm optimistic, but still, it's like, man, it's like you can't mess this up.
No,
I've been very disappointed in the past, like with like Aragon, like not a good movie. Book was fantastic, not a good movie.
Did they make a sequel movie?
They never did. And I for what it's worth, I did enjoy the movie. Like I thought the actual dragon like was good, like good looking. Like having Rachel Weisz voice act the dragon I thought was a good choice. But yeah, not a great movie. Yeah, and the game was like I kind of like the game too. You know, it's one of those bad. You know,
there was a game.
Yeah, you know, one of those bad like movie games back in the day. Aragon, the movie, the game type of situation. But whatever.
Hey, get ready for Last of Us, the show, the game, season 2.
I'm going to be a dad edition.
The daddy edition. Everyone's a dad. The Father's Day edition.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let us know how you guys are feeling about the Switch 2, the launch lineup, how you've been enjoying the actual piece of hardware itself. I think we both love it a lot. I mean, it's exactly what we wanted from the Switch 2. Just bigger, better, and more badass. We'll be back next week. We should be back on our normal timeline. Any final thoughts, Nick?
We'll talk about our favorite top 5 games of the year so far next week.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And then, talk about the Bonanza Direct.
Yeah.
Anything else that comes out? Another marathon delay. Who knows?
We delayed the delay. Rest in peace. All right, guys, if you could review us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Go follow us on our TikTok channel, where I think we're maybe almost at 900 or maybe crossed the mark now.
We're one away.
We're itching to get to 1,000 by the end of June, so I think it's definitely doable. So
it's in the cards.
Yeah, so Nick's been posting just a ton of comparison videos on there. So if you're interested in that stuff at all, definitely check that out. And just some funny videos as well. So it's always a good time over on our TikTok page.
Yeah, it's been fun.
So all right, guys, we'll be back next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.